I tried to catch up on what my previous colleagues mentioned. So, collaborative efforts in maritime education. Maybe I will start and mention again IMU organization, International Association of Maritime Universities, which exists for 22 years, 24 years, and actually consists of 74, probably the major maritime education institution, higher education institution in the world. We are quite a lot of time spent discussing about what we need, what should be our curriculum, how we should change our curriculum. At the moment, we are a part of those executive board, international executive board inside the association, and then one of the last, let's say, tasks of those people who are sitting in the executive board is to find what will be the future of the organization, but of course it reflects to the education, to the program, syllabus, curriculum, etc. So it's still ongoing process, and it's not easy to make what really we need to do. But related to the education, I think here we heard a lot about the port and so let's say logistics and management. But when we talk about maritime education, then actually we have, I would say, two kinds of education. One, which is prescribed and regulated by the STCW Convention, which is very strict and actually related to the seafarers. But here we are talking about, let's say but we are talking about everything. But if you're talking about, and those seafarers, let's say education for seafarers is regulated, minimum standards, and then what actually we have in reality. We have shipping companies who are later on actually require very specific tailor-made training like lifelong learning, let's say a system of lifelong learning, and we as education institutions actually support them quite a lot, in general around the world. Of course, we need to say that all our education institutions around the world is challenging the issue that our national legislation is different somehow. So maybe also the point for this connection between maritime education and the industry should go in a way what we saw in the shipping, that actually industry cooperating with education institution should require this additional training, because we need to also, we didn't mention, you asked for the challenges. One of the challenge is for sure students, the young generation, which are changing very fast. I have been educated with the institution in education for 24 years, and actually last 5 years I would say those youngers, they are changed dramatically. Before somebody mentioned, Piero mentioned that actually they are younger, they're flexible. You mentioned that they want to change for €200, and these are the changes. Their motivation, concentration, everything is changing. So our goal is also to adapt those changes in our basic education, and then later on try to also ask the industry to be more focused on the training. Now, I heard very good impression from you that you are very busy. Sometimes, of course, MSG is a global company. There is many other which are local and they are different. But what I saw that their approach is changing. So nowadays, in the last 5 years, they are approaching to us much more, even from the shore side, let's say from the port companies, and that's good, but it's not always the case. Nowadays is lack of people, human resources, and everybody's coming to us. But 10 years ago, it was not like this. So we need to make all together efforts that industry also realized that we are giving them the basics, for sure, because they are young. But later on, very specific topics that we need to, that always nowadays we are talking about, artificial intelligence, digitalization, is something which is coming. So it's very good that industry is also facing with this and cooperate with us, but in terms of lifelong learning, I will say much more. Of course, our curriculum is changing according to their needs, according to their interest. You mentioned that you have, what is it called, employee forum. Yes, so even I think in Croatia there is a law that some of the industry representatives should be in the panel for the new curriculum, etc. So this is one side. What I mentioned is another side, and maybe shipping industry, I would say, that is very, very good in that let's say system of education and training, not education, but training later on when the people are already in the industry. So this is that is what I wanted to mention. So changing of students, for sure, and they're young. Sometimes, many times, our captains are coming to the university, and then they start to talk. Oh, those students are like this. Cadets are very poor, but you need to think about that they are young. We are all was young, and when I stepped first time on board the ship, I was very not scared, but not familiar with the environment. So it is something that we need to go back. And then sometimes they say, did you teach them, for example, in shipping in ISM code? I don't know if everybody of you are aware or familiar with ISM code. But then I said, but what you did later on in, I don't know, 1 year apprenticing time or 2 years apprenticing time. So absolutely, it should be collaborative measures from the industry to the education. And I will close my speech now, but industry need to be more active as well as we are, because we were also not so active in the past, 15, 20 years ago. But I know that industry needs to live, to earn the money. And if you don't have a problem, if the industry doesn't have a problem, then they will not cooperate with us, because they will just go with the flow. And nowadays it's happened that they have quite big issue with lack of resources. Thank you.